Today we're going to be doing my first auto farm design. This is going to start with mushrooms, but it's going to work with pretty much any crop. The thing is the math's going to be a little different for your field size depending on the crop. We're going to be using white mushroom because they just grow really fast, which, you know, requires a small farm. A lot of people are asking me, why wouldn't you use watermelons? Well, watermelons, they take a long time to grow. Essentially 4 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes if you have a really big island and a ton of crops. This is going to differ depending on that. So if you have a lot of crops on your island or it's huge and you got a lot of timers, yeah, it's not going to work on giant farms. Before I begin though, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you have not played this game, this is High Realms, my game. I love it, and we got lots and lots of plans for it. This is just the beginning, trust me. We got crazy plans. I've been designing the next world. We got lots of new mobs coming. We got lots of new weapons coming, all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to spoil it though. I'm not going to spoil anything for now. All right, let's get going. So first up, I have a process for this, and I'm just going to explain this. So right here, this is just a cross. So these are grass blocks, and these are all my plants. These are all the seeds. And what's nice about this is I can go and select this and do a count on the bottom right. That's the sum of the number of seeds I'm going to need is 480. We're going to be using Tiny Task. So if you're on mobile, I'm sorry. I know mobile's not been having a good time lately. We haven't stopped working on mobile. So stay tuned for that update. We have a nice update coming for you. So we have 512 seeds here. We only need 480. Like I said, this can work on other crops, namely wheat. Wheat grows the same exact amount of time as white mushroom. So white mushroom's a lot more expensive. Wheat's not. You can get tons of wheat very quickly. You get lots of seeds. I think it's like 1 in 20 for a seed. So just start farming the wheat, get up there, auto farm it. But like I said, this is PC only because we are going to be using a tool called Tiny Task. Most of you are familiar with that. You can also use AHK. You can use any kind of macros. We don't ban for macros. You're totally allowed to macro in this game. Should we put it in the back of the base? Yeah, let's put it in the back of my island. We're just going to put it behind here. That way it's hidden. You won't be able to see it. And because we are going to be 13, this is going to be our middle block. Let's put 6 on each side. That's the width of the farm. And we want it to be longer, not wider. And the reason being is you want to do less turns. So that's why we did it this way. And then pretty much we need to do the entire ground here. I'm going to go and start with this, and then we're going to fill it in. So we have to go 81 out. So it's 1, 2. And I'm just going to count. So I'm just going to build real quick. All right, that should be 81. And we're just going to go 13 across here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then we're going to need some more dirt because this is square footage wise, block wise. There's a lot of blocks. It's just under 1,000. I'm going to go and fill this in. But first, we need to go buy a bunch of blocks. We're going to buy like, we'll buy like 800 blocks of dirt. By the way, a lot of people are complaining it's too easy to get money right now. It's kind of getting crazy. I agree. So you're going to be seeing a big nerf soon, particularly on watermelons, underlanes, XP, tons of stuff. So yeah, it's going to get a little harder soon. But the nice thing is we're going to make it a little easier for you to get different ores and stuff that you need. You know, I'll just buy 1,000 of those. Why not? We always need dirt. All right, so we're going to use dirt to fill this in. I'm kind of tempted to use glass, but I think glass is going to slow things down because of the transparency. So we might just use dirt for everything, which is totally fine. Although I do have I have a lot of coal blocks. So, you know, we'll do a coal block farm. That way you can see it a little bit easier. So pretty much we just need to fill this in. I won't make you watch me place dirt all day. All right, there is our field. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to make a border around this. And I'm going to show you how to set it up afterwards. Now, you're probably wondering how I got this math because it is 480. It's very specific. And the way I did it, and this is how you could do it for any crop, even not just in this game, but you know, even an island, same thing. But what you're going to want to do is just time how long it takes for a crop to grow. And you're going to want to pad it a little bit because just differences, lag, CPU lag, server lag. So you don't want to or try to get too precise with it because there is such the, you know, thing as lag and timing and kind of just weird stuff that could really mess up your auto farm. So you pretty much time it. So say crop takes like a minute, 21 seconds. You're going to round it up to like a minute and a half. And then what you're going to do is you're going to time yourself pretty much running a circuit. So basically put 50 blocks out and time yourself running back and forth to see how long it takes for you to run and complete a full circuit. Within say it's a minute and a half, you're pretty much going to time that. And once you understand how many blocks you can run within a minute and a half, then you know that's your full circuit. Now you don't need to use the gold scythe. I'm pretty much going to be showing this with the iron scythe because the gold scythe is too big anyway. It's going to help us so we don't have to use a sword. If we use a sword, we could have the chance of accidentally breaking blocks, which we don't want to do. If you suddenly start breaking blocks with your sword or pickaxe while you're trying to harvest, what's going to happen is you're going to wake up, or the next day you're going to come back to your computer and a bunch of blocks are going to be gone, and you're probably going to be falling in the void constantly. So you don't really want to be using swords or anything like that. You got to use the scythe. But yeah, so from a timing standpoint, that's how we do it. And it just helps you get an idea of how big your farm's going to need to be. And then you just do the math from there. Now, this is going to be excessively big because we're going to have, as part of a recording, we're going to take some pauses. So we could probably cut this like an entire row. But like I said, I'd rather have stuff kind of waiting for me ready than not, because otherwise you're wasting full runs if things aren't ready, or if you messed up on your planting, you didn't get to plant because they were still growing, things like that. So we don't want to get out of sync. I'd rather have a little extra padded time. Now we got to plow still, but we don't want to plow yet. What we're going to do here is this is going to be our return lane. So you need to just do a little row here like this. And then this is going to be our first lane here. So this is the first one. Remember, you always have to do odd numbers on your width, by the way. So if you're trying to plan your stuff, make sure it's odd numbers. It can't be like 12 across. If you do that, then you won't have a return lane. Just a tip. Make sure you're odd numbered. And then, so pretty much just going to run this. This is going to be our first lane. And then we're going to make a little U-turn up here. Shouldn't take too long. Definitely easier to do these lanes than it is to fill in the entire thing. So we're going to make a left turn. If you've been watching me for a long time from Islands, you've probably seen this design already. So this is going to be like, oh, okay, he's just doing that design again. Very true. And yes, certainly am doing that with the scythe. It's pretty much the equivalent of like an island sickle. And same technique. Now I could, like I said, combine the seed planting and the harvesting at the same time. It would certainly save a lot of time because you have that minute and a half. And by the time you circle again, I mean, you're going to get a full extra harvest out of it. We're just trying to keep things simple right now. That way we don't have any mess ups, because if you're switching between scythe every second and then trying to harvest plus plant, you're probably going to miss your planting. And we don't have a hotkey for harvesting yet. You're not going to be able to like easily plant and harvest at the same time. Like in Islands, you're able to, spam the F key and then pretty much just keep spamming the seed at the same time while your mouse was over it. It was pretty nice. All right, so here's our circuit. You can see this last lane here. This is our return lane, so we can start over. And now what we need to do is we need to plow all this. So I'm not going to have you watch me plow all day. Let's just get the hoe out. There we go. Also, we have been discussing like whether or not we want to make it so you could toggle. So like if I hit this again, it goes back to grass. Because if you want to turn it back to grass, you'd have to break the tilled dirt. All right, I'm just going to skip ahead. So we're going to be plowed in 3, 2, 1. There we go. It's all plowed, like I said. So now what we need to do is we need to go to our starting corner. Our starting corner is over here. And we're going to pretty much just macro it right now. So how we're going to do this? We're going to do it in 2 phases, all right? First, we're going to plant. And the next phase, we're going to have to switch to the scythe. And then we're going to have to hold down. And like I said, we're going to be using Tiny Task. Here's what Tiny Task looks like. This little app. Be careful where you download this. Like, try to get from the official website. I think it's like, yeah, tinytask.net. And you can find it there. That's the best place to get it. All right, so we are ready to record this. This is going to be a little painful because I'm going to do manual clicks for all this. We got to do rapid clicking. Could use an auto clicker. Depending on the speed of your auto clicker, it should record. Like Tiny Task is just not that fast. It's not very good at recording clicks, so especially rapid ones. So what I would say is don't use an auto clicker, just kind of manual click. Make sure you're like aligned here and go in the corner. We're going to start our recording. We're just going to make sure we're in that corner. Make sure you hit 2 to select the seed, and then we're going to run upwards. Now make sure you don't sprint. I almost started sprinting with the shift button. Just don't do that. But you're going to want to click rapidly so you can get these planted as fast as you can. If you miss a seed, that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Let's just make sure we're cornered. I kind of walked backwards just now. That is going to record that, but it's not that big of a deal. Just don't do what I did. I was trying to show you something and I kind of recorded the back movement, which is a big L, but that's okay. We can keep up with this. And we just have to loop all the way. And then once we make our full loop, we're going to switch over to that scythe and we're going to corner again. Just make sure our timing's good. And then we're going to hold down the scythe. That's a big difference between this is we're clicking rapidly to plant. We could hold down for the planting. It's just kind of finicky. I don't really trust it. I trust clicks. I don't really trust the hold down. We might switch everything to be a click based instead of hold down, which would be kind of nice because then it'd be a little bit more consistent. So like you're gonna have to click to like use your sword instead of holding down, which would probably be a better experience overall, but we're not sure on that. We haven't missed any blocks. Oh, I just jinxed myself. I just missed a block. Oh, I did it again. I think my finger's just getting tired. But we're almost to the end here. You don't have to do this size of a farm, by the way. It'll still work with smaller farms too. Like you could do like a quarter. Oh, I just missed another block. Another block. Okay, so we're cornered. We're gonna switch to the scythe. And now we're going to hold down. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to hold down and we're just going to walk up. You can see the crop's already ready on the other side there, which is great. So we probably don't need like 60 of these blocks if we're going to pace it the way we did. But like I said, I'd rather them be ready than not. Now you could do a macro that's a little bit more sophisticated that like does your movement like this and then times the placements. You can harvest and plant at the same time, all that, but a little too complicated for me. We're just going to do it this way. This is friendly. This is just tiny task, literally a recording of what my actions are. And it's simple and it's going to work for any crop that I do, including watermelon. Like if I put watermelon here, yeah, it's not going to be ready yet, but I mean, it's an auto farm. I can still put any crop I want in here. So we're almost to the finish line here. We're going to end up with a lot more seeds too. And by tomorrow, we're going to be with like a ton of seeds. We'll probably just be able to like sell 1,000 of them. All right, there we go. Now we can end our recording. And you'll notice as soon as I start my macro, it's going to do everything automatically. I can save my fingers finally. There we go. Now it should start planting. And it's pretty much just going to repeat what I just did because it's a recording of every action that I did. And now I can just go to sleep. I don't have to play the game anymore. Yay. See, I did that little backup. It copied my little backup. That's the only downside is you can't like edit that out. Now, pullover macro creator is another macro creator you could use. It does do recording. It is based on AHK or auto hotkey as well. It does recordings, but I've had issues with the recordings. They're not like super accurate, but the nice thing about auto hotkey is that you can edit every action. So it records everything in a script, and then you can edit that script in case you mess something up and you want to replace it or fix it, or you want to extend some timing or anything like that. It's fully editable because it's similar to auto hotkey, except it's got the recording functions and all. It's a little bit more user friendly. Yeah, I like this design. It's just simple. It's OG. It's what I've always used in islands. Now you're gonna see it's gonna repeat, switching over to scythe, and it's gonna farm. That's pretty much it. Plus you're getting free seeds more often than you are gonna get from watermelons. So you're getting twice as many seeds from this than you do watermelons. Now watermelon seeds are obviously worth more, and it's easier to get set up with these. 480 seeds are not that expensive. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I'm just gonna leave this running all night. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do me solid. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next vid.